Hi guys, welcome back to PJs. Today we're going to speak about gear linkages in the Golf Mk1. A very common problem in the Golf Mk1 where your gear lever starts becoming very sloppy and wobbly and you struggle to find gears, especially the reverse gear and first. Now in most cases I hear guys say that they need to have their gear linkages set and all that. First of all, and in most cases it's not the gear linkages, it's your bushes at the linkages that needs to be replaced, and that is probably badly worn out and probably doesn't even exist anymore. So I'm going to take you under the car now just to show you what it actually looks like when it's worn out.
And now when you're underneath the car, this is actually the wobbly bit here. As you can see there, this is so loose and that it's causing you to have that sloppy gear, and that is because there is a bush that goes in here and it's completely worn out, and you'll find another one higher up that is also worn out. So this whole little shaft shakes and moves around as you're trying to select. And then you come to the next area of the gear linkage setup, and that is that area there, and in there you will find your selector rod bush. Now that is one of the main culprits that causes your selector rod not to be stabilized. So that particular bush there and the bushes that I've shown you earlier on here and at the top are the main culprits when it comes to the gear linkages. Those are the ones that gives you that wobbly type of gear lever.
So now you can understand why you have the situation with the gear lever that is so sloppy, and you can understand why sometimes you won't get certain gears. And it's not really about linkages that have to be set, it is really about bushes that have to be replaced. And I'm going to show you basically the type of bushes that is needed, that you need to purchase to reinstall into the linkages.
These are the bushes that you would commonly need on your Mk1. They cost around 100 to 150 Rand. Now once you've purchased your bushes, you then will proceed to remove the linkages from all these components. Like here, you will remove this clip, and then that bar will come off, and then you push out your old bush and replace it with a new one. And once you've removed that one, you will find a corresponding bush at the end of that bar that I just pointed out now. Same thing there, you pull out the clip, pull out this bar, and then you remove the bush and replace it with a new bush. And then the next thing you do, get underneath the car and you come down to the area which I showed you earlier. Remove that 13mm nut, and once you've removed the 13mm nut here, automatically your selector ball, also known as the lollipop, will also be able to come out, and then you can proceed to pull out this whole shaft. The whole mechanism will come out, and once the shaft is out, you will be able to see very easily where you need to replace the new bushes. And then you can proceed to the pinch bolt. When you loosen that, it will be able to come loose off from the selector rod. You just have to use a bit of just give it a couple of taps and it will come off. But before you do that, before you loosen the pinch bolt, I would advise you to make a mark on the spline with white or colored cokie, just to ensure you put back the spline area Just to clarify, the mark that I'm talking about, you make one here with a cookie there, because that's where your linkages are at its best for gear selection. And then you also make a mark here. So when you put this thing back, make sure you put it back on those marks. You can make one here too on this side that links up with this mark here, and obviously a cross. So you're basically making a cross, so that way you won't go wrong with putting on the thing incorrectly. The next thing that you're going to remove is this plate over here, and in that plate of course is your selector rod bush, which is the red one, well, reddish orange. I know that there are two different types, just make sure you get the correct bush. And this plate is held up by, there are two 13mm nuts, and once you've removed the two 13mm nuts, the plate can then be slid out along the selector rod. Obviously this front portion would be out already, so then you just slide out the plate. Yes, and obviously when you have the plate out, you will have to drill out those rivets, and so that you'll be able to get the old bush out and replace the new one. So once you've drilled them out, you can just use the two nuts and bolts that will be supplied with the bush and close it up again with the new bush inside. So once you've installed all your bushes, you can proceed to put everything back together again. Your plate with your selector rod in, this bar over here, and you will connect this back up onto the spline area, and your lollipop or your selector ball you will put back again. Just use a bit of logic and common sense, and you will see that it's quite a simple process if you just stick to a simple method of doing things. That's why I mentioned about making a mark on the spline, so that you will know exactly where it went onto. And then there are also 4 other flat rubber bushes, the black ones, that needs to be installed at these linkages here. There are 2 of them. You can see the bushes needs to go in here, one here and one further down. And then you will look further down, you will see another similar type of linkage. Replace all those black bushes too. Inspect them, and seeing that you have new ones, rather replace them all. And these kind of linkages, they're plastic, they're not held together by screws. They come off quite easily. You just pull them, you just pull the little ear loose, and then you pull, and then the linkage will come out, and then you replace your new bush, put the linkage back on, snap it on again, and you close the little ear.
Okay guys, there you go. Those are a couple of pointers for you to have a better understanding on gear linkages and the bushes and the whole setup. I will be doing a video on the actual installation and replacement of bushes on my car, and that video I will load up later on YouTube. But have a look at this in the meantime, and get a nice understanding of what the gear linkage setup on the Golf Mk1 really is. Thank you for watching guys, and continue to subscribe and share. Thanks a lot.